Please rise for the pledge. Can we just keep standing for a minute and like to have a moment of silence for Ted Wabi, our county treasurer, who passed away this Saturday. So if we could have a few moments, please. Thank you. Roll call.
Bunton.
Present.
Campbell.
Here.
Dempsey.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Crop. Here. Menzer.
Here. Okay, announcements, acknowledgments, communications, and reports. And tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to have each of the candidates for the open position give us a couple minutes introduction of themselves. What I would like to propose to this commission is that we set up time next Monday for the interviews, 15-minute interviews of all the candidates for the open position. So tonight it's just basically showing your face so we can see who you are and just a little introduction, nothing too lengthy. And you will be contacted then for the time next Monday if this board agrees that that's a good way to handle it. So we need to talk about that and make a decision before the meeting's over with, if that's okay with everybody here. So I'm just going to call the people up by the order we have them here. Richard Block.
Good evening. I am he. Like she said, my name is Richard Block. I live at 207 Cambridge. I've lived in that house for a little over 37 years. Raised a couple of different families there. Seen a lot of things happen to the city. Didn't spend a lot of time in the city early on because I was busy working. But over the last several years, I've seen several of the, what I consider to be steps backward, stopped. And I think that some steps have been taken in the right direction. I think that things are progressing, they're moving forward. And since I've been retired for a while, I've got some free time on my hands, and I think I can add a little bit to this group. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. William Ford.
William Ford. I live at 83 Gibbs Street, Mount Clemens. I have submitted my application for the open position on the Mount Clemens City Commission. I understand this is a 2-year posting. I am a lifelong resident of Mount Clemens, a property owner and a business owner. This uniquely qualifies me for the position, along with my sincere desire to make the Mount Clemens the best it can be. I will represent the community in a fair and honest manner, giving each issue sincere consideration, taking into account all comments, concerns, and suggestions by residents, the business community, and the city administration. I look forward to working with each and every one in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Laura Fournier.
My name is Laura Fournier. I live at 70 Lodwick in Mount Clemens. And I also am recently retired and decided and have been involved at the City Commission a little bit in the last couple of years and have gotten to know some of the things about the city, and as a lifelong resident have a great deal of interest in seeing this city thrive and grow as the years to come. I have been, well, along with my husband, very active in our neighborhood and trying to keep our neighborhood upgraded and free of blight and free of empty houses that sit there for a long time. We have renovated several properties, and we've tried to put our resources where our interests lie. We, again, have been lifelong residents of the city, and I'm very interested in working collaboratively with the committee and seeing the committee grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen Knox? Knox? I hope I put, yeah.
Good evening, Stephen Knox. I live at 183 Moross. I've been in Mount Clemens for 6 years now. And thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of you and seek the appointment. I've always been interested in love stories of advocates who would speak for those who couldn't speak, who would give voice to the voiceless. And that led me into social work and then into law. And right away I learned that those stories they don't tell you half of it. What matters is listening. The problem's on the other end. Everybody has a voice. And especially in this unique situation where the position is not subject to public election, listening will be the most important attribute that I can bring. And especially to listen to the established leadership that's done such a good job, as we saw in our last commission meeting with Plant Moran's glowing report of the state of our city. So the most important thing I have to say is, regardless of who you end up voting for, please vote for someone. I've noticed a lot of 3-3 deadlocks, stalemates on some important issues. So the 6 of you, please come together one time, and then the next 9 months will go better. Thank you.
Thank you. How does everyone here on the board feel about next Monday?
It's okay with me.
Want to double check?
Roger?
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, so what we'll do is the city manager's office will contact each and every one of you and give you a time next Monday night, and we'll meet here, and we'll have a 15-minute back Q&A probably, and to get to get to know you a little better. I don't know how much better we can get to know you in 15 minutes, but at least there may be some questions the board will have, so they'll contact you then. Okay.
I want to mention we are missing one candidate.
Oh, I'm sorry, we are missing one candidate, Karen Gazer-Bates, or Karen Bates-Gazer. Get that always mixed up. She could not be here with us tonight, but I'm sure she'll be here next Monday and that, so. All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Croft.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Okay, this is public participation. This is the time you may address this body. All we ask is that you give us your name and residential address and that you adhere to the 3-minute rule. You may speak on any subject. It doesn't have to be on the agenda. So you have 3 minutes. So come forth. No comments? Okay. I knew if I said I was going to close it, somebody'd get up.
I just thought there would be. Gosh, I'm thrilled to see so many qualified candidates. I'm sorry there's only one seat. I hope every one of these people, the next election, will run and not leave us again with a why run because there's no competition. That was a terrible seeing this last time. Anyway, number one, I know you all got my emails because they didn't come back regarding the hydrant issue. I drove by there tonight. It's still there. It's still red. We've had, since I first brought it to your attention, we've had several times where the weather has been plenty warm enough to paint. I know because I painted in some off weather. As long as you got 6 hours for it to dry, it's good. This week, up through this weekend, we're going to have in the high 50s to 60s. If you make an effort, I'm sure you can get them to paint it. There's plenty of time. I don't want to hear this, oh, well, it's still red going through the winter and the spring because there was no time. There's plenty of time to paint yet this weekend. And I was very serious about what I said. I was not looking for money. My number one goal is that hydrant must be painted a correct color. Are you aware that the colors of hydrants are an indication of the pressure in them? And if we happen to have a big fire in that area, and it's an industrial area, and there's a fireman that isn't from here and doesn't realize and thinks that's a red pressure hydrant, that's a different pressure than, it needs to be addressed. And especially it needs to be addressed on a simple basis that I was prosecuted and persecuted and damn near run in the ground and people from this commission sitting up there hoping I would go to jail and pay a fine. And you're like, with this one, what's with that? Are you familiar with the Supreme Court building, equal justice under law? I'm telling you right now, my number one goal, get that repainted the correct color. Number two, if you don't, pony up what you made me pay for legal defense because it turned out to be a bond case anyway. Or number three, I will pursue selective prosecution charges against you because that's what it was. You're going to prosecute me and not even bother asking somebody else to read? Come on. And finally, can somebody please get to Mr. Casson at the county and let him know what planning and economic development is? Having his people bring in somebody very well-to-do, well-run company that's well-heeled and present them as, here's how you get a tax abatement. We don't need this city pimped out to the lowest bidder and to the person that wants to pay the least to be here. What's the matter with them? The county needs to get out of city business with one exception. When you finally get a city income tax going, make sure that those property or those payroll taxes are deducted right. And number two, that they're remitted to the city. And when we get them remitted to the city, we won't have any problems anymore. We won't have to collaborate with the county because we'll have enough money to take care of things ourselves. That's all we need from the county is the money they owe us. They come here, they use the services, they run the water, they flush the toilets, they go home.
Thank you.
No more freebies.
Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Debbie Williams, and this is my partner Renee Poole, and we're the people who petitioned to have the pedicab ordinance put into Mount Clemens. We have purchased a pedicab, which is actually called the Barrel Bike, and we wanted to know if you had any questions about it or anything like that.
When we get to that on the agenda, I'd be more than happy at that time if you could come up if any of the city commissioners had any
Okay.
questions. How's
Okay.
that?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Laura Fournier, 70 Lodwick. I did want to check and see if the city could give me a definitive answer as to whether or not they're going to do anything about the house at the corner of Robertson and northbound Gratiot. We've lost a lot of time, and if there is nothing that the city can do about this, I would like to try to start something in the community that we can try funding to get this house down. It is a problem. I can only stress that these empty houses are not good for our city, and especially when they're on the main thoroughfare coming into the city. We just bought another house just recently, and the crawl space, all the windows had been kicked in. This is in my neighborhood, and God knows what animals in there. I'm not going in to find out. And secondly, there's apparently a homeless person living in the shed because all the vodka bottles are stacked in the corner, and his cardboard and his coats and or a blanket or something is in there. We can't leave these houses empty. It's just not good for the city. So if you could let me know what, if anything, you can do. If there's nothing you can do, I would like to start something in the community to get it down. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, okay.
Yes, my name is Jimmy Dixon at 94 Park. I just want to know if you're going to do anything next year on Euclid or Jones Street, fixing the street. It's very needed. It's needed very bad. So if you can do something to Euclid or Jones, we would appreciate it very much. And I'm also here to represent Mr. Ford. Hope he can get on board and work with you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Going once, going twice? Okay. Thank you. Administrative responses to issues or questions raised at previous meetings. Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple of things. We had some questions regarding parking concerns on Gratiot Court and Boheme. And DPS, Department of Public Services, has looked into that, and we're doing some research on work orders and traffic control orders over the years as to how signs were there or were not there any longer. Secondly, DTE has been notified of the light, which was reported at a prior meeting as well, being out at Howard and Park. For future reference, I just wanted to mention to people, and we're going to have something on our website shortly as well, but residents can report that kind of information directly to DTE, because that's all that we're going to do is contact DTE and let them know that light is out. And that's what we've done in this case. But for future cases, you can contact DTE directly, and the telephone number is 1-800-477-4747. So that's 1-800-477-4747. Or you can visit their website, dteenergy.com, and click on Report a Problem, select an outage, and then select Report Streetlight Problem from there. And there's a form that you can fill out and report that a streetlight is out. We are looking to add something on our website where you can do that a little bit more easily than following that set of instructions on their website. So we'll try to get that set up and have that up and running by the time the next commission meeting comes around, and we can have that available. But we encourage you to contact DTE directly on those items because talking with us just introduces additional delays. You can contact DTE directly with the telephone number or the website. Thank you.
That's it.
Yes.
Any questions? Commissioner Metzer?
I encourage you, if you have difficulty with the website, if you have difficulty calling DTE, please call the city. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the minutes from previous meetings.
Move to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunten.
Yes.
Okay, general business, 9A. Introduction and first reading of the pedicab public transportation ordinance. Need a motion?
Move to approve the introduction and first reading of the pedicab public transportation ordinance and set December 21st, 2015 as the date for the second reading and adoption.
Do I have a second?
Support.
The city's received a request to allow for the use of a pedal pub party bike in the downtown area. The intent is to use this pedal pub on the weekends for parties of up to 15 people for a pre-scheduled pub crawl. The pedal pub, which would be run by a licensed driver, would only be used on a specific route in the downtown area and would not be used in the surrounding main streets. City Attorney Mike Murray has drafted the pedicab public transportation ordinance to accommodate this and future requests. A permit will be required on a yearly basis, and fees will be established similar to other vehicles licensed through the city. As with all license requirements, insurance would be required, which shall name the City of Mount Clemens as an additional insured, and will include an agreement to hold the city harmless for any liability or claim arising from the operation of such vehicles. Please note the proposed ordinance does prohibit alcohol consumption on the bike. At the present time, pedal pubs have been permitted in Bay City, Detroit, and Grand Rapids.
Okay. Are there any questions for the young ladies that were out there? Would you come to the mic again? It might be easier than. Commissioner Hill?
I am not familiar with this vehicle.
Could I show you a picture?
Yes, I'd love to see one.
This is what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Passengers are 16 and driver.
Oh, okay.
There's an
Would you
picture.
pass this? Anybody else want to see it?
Yeah, pass it
I know
around.
you looked it up on Google.
I did, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else want to?
Just pass it around.
My other question is would this be operated in the street?
Yes.
Okay.
It only goes 6 miles per hour. It's totally on the pedal system. There's no motor in it at all.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The
that's what
idea-
the pedals.
Yeah.
Everybody helps pedal.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct, and we are under the understanding that we have to go through the sheriff's department to get the approved routes and with the city. And we have driven around and looked at certain cross points, that we've talked about, because we would probably need to cross Gratiot, at a light or something. So, but we're willing to, work with everyone. And our first goal is safety of our patrons and for everyone in the city. So we're certainly willing to look at all of those options of certain routes, or if we try something and it doesn't work, because I saw in the paper that you stated you thought some of the streets were very narrow, and that will be our concern also. We would want to do a test and make sure that it worked before we had people on there, just our family, or
I just had no idea what it was.
invite all of you to come with us and say, this would work. We're not trying to cause harm to anyone.
No, I didn't think you would. Commissioner Button?
How many of these units will you be operating?
One.
Just one? Okay. And is there a time schedule, or it's by appointment?
We are looking at a 2-hour tour. And
Okay.
we would do maybe 2 or 3 of them on each weekend if we can, depending on how full we get them.
Okay.
You'd have to have everybody pedaling for 2 hours.
We can take a little break, once the one next to each other.
so Commissioner Campbell?
I see that they're in Bay City, Detroit, and Grand Rapids. Have there been problems in any of those cities with them?
So far, not.
Not that we know of, and they're in probably like 20 to 25 cities in the United States. The Pedal Pub, this is our, owner's manual. The people will sign liability forms for everything. We have insurance. It looks like your requirement was 1 million. We have automatically it's 2 million. And, on the bike and all of that, we will offer helmets to everyone who wishes to wear them. If they choose not to, they have to sign that they chose not to wear a helmet. So, it's started here, I believe, in 2011. They started in 2006, but Minneapolis has 15 bikes. It's in Nashville. It's in a lot of big cities. So it's a new business.
I did some research in towns that were, in Ann Arbor, Traverse City, and there was an issue in Ann Arbor where, because it's so slow, it can be a traffic issue, but it also, they had a pedal pub that had a small motor on it to try to assist that, and so I just didn't know, when you said there isn't a motor,
There's ones that are made with a motor. The one that we have does not have a motor.
Okay, but you're thinking you'll be able to go up a hill and cross Gratiot with that?
Well, we're not coming from this way. We're coming from the other side.
So you'll always be going downhill?
Right.
Well, no, it's not that. When we're looking, we're not coming down this little hill, coming from Rose and those back streets across.
Okay.
Okay, that's coming, but basically you're going to be servicing just the downtown.
Correct.
For square blocks, kind of, right?
Correct.
Walnut, Macomb, I'm thinking
Cass
Pine.
Avenue, actually, if we could, take Cass.
Cass might,
It might be
it's
too
busy,
busy.
but
fast on
different
Cass.
times. I mean,
they'll work that out.
it depends, I guess, on the times. In the evening, it might not be as busy as during when the county lets out or the businesses let out and everything, but evening, again, it might not be that busy. So I guess it's going to have to be a trial and error.
And we're willing
We're-
to try
yeah.
anything and.
Certain times of the day, if it's
Sheriff.
busy, we certainly don't want to impede traffic or anything like that.
We have lights, we have turn signals, it's.
The
Okay,
only,
if I can, Your Honor, if I can just say something quick before I don't. We're spending a lot of time talking about the individual details of what they might propose, and I think that's all illustrative, and it helps you understand what might come into play here, but we're not voting on
Correct.
any
Yeah.
operation of this business is on the ordinance to set up so that they can make an application. I just want people to know that, so that we're not
Correct.
under
Right.
the impression we're approving that use tonight. It's just the ordinance that would be looked at and voted on twice, this being the
I mean,
first
you'd have to
reading.
apparently come back.
And then,
Correct.
in addition, the ordinance sets forth that any routes have to be approved by the sheriff's
that's what they
department, and
Correct.
I can't imagine the sheriff's department is gonna approve Cass Avenue.
It's fine, we can go on whatever they approve or
Yeah.
believe would work the best.
Commissioner Krapp?
my other question was, several of the cities, the only city that I could actually find that didn't have a BYOB aspect of it was Royal Oak. And Royal Oak is a much larger city in terms of how many bars and restaurants that you're actually going to frequent. And so I wondered, with that BYOB aspect not being in place with this ordinance, and did we not, I mean, other cities have it, and it doesn't seem to be an issue, at least reported. And so I wondered, are we setting you up to not be successful because of that. And so I just didn't know why it wasn't considered.
Our research indicated that there were some cities that allowed the consumption of alcohol in the pedicab, but there were cities that did not allow it. So that's up to this commission. Royal Oak, they did not allow it. They
Right.
were concerned about it. I think this, even though they're going to have insurance and they're going to hold us harmless, I would estimate that you would have much more litigation if alcohol is involved on this vehicle.
But has there been,
Well,
I mean,
did-
other cities, did we, I mean, I just wondered
No,
why
I
it was
don't know.
automatically went to no, so. Seems like it.
If you want
To answer that question directly, it's the way it was drawn up is to not have that present. That's a mayor and commission decision, and it's at your discretion if you want to have it drafted. You can talk about it the second time we do the reading here to say that we'd like to allow that. That's something that we could do. You have to choose one or the other, and the choice was to not allow consumption of alcohol in the draft.
Commissioner Hill?
I was wondering what kind of charge you'll have for people riding on this.
Well, it does depend. When you allow the people to bring alcohol, it's more of a bike tour, and we would never serve them, and they bring their own. So we would be able to charge a little bit more for that, and like some cities are charging $400 for the 2 hours. Without it, we've got to kind of look. We've kind of got to look at that also.
So you haven't decided yet?
No,
We're in the works.
They
It's
have
about
not- they haven't-
300 to 400 for
They
a
have
2-hour
not put an
tour.
application in yet,
Oh,
and we're not
okay.
putting a price in the ordinance, per
okay.
se, so it'll be per application
Right.
Oh,
when that
okay.
comes up.
I was just wondering what kind of cost was involved.
Commissioner Martin? He had his hand up before, I'm sorry.
Well, I just wanted to point out that 46-411, the consumption of alcohol prohibited, pretty much speaks for that they're not supposed to have any alcohol on the premises, on the bike itself.
We used that as an example. For, it was actually the city of Bay City, their first ordinance, because Governor Schneider did not sign the rule into law until July of 2015. And that city ordinance was an example of 2014. That's why it's on there. If you'd like, I can give you an up-to-date one. I have.
No,
No, that's okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's something that
You'll
we're
bring it
going to
to
have
us
to
later.
decide
Okay.
on
Yeah.
when we have another reading for this. So that's something we'll talk about and see if we want to change that.
Okay.
Commissioner Menzer?
So I had a talk with some of the young kids at work, and by young kids, I mean they're from like 23 until, like 30, who frequent Mount Clemens and party and go from bar to bar. And to a person, all of the ones I spoke to today said that they would not take the pedicab if we did not allow alcohol on it. And that the distance between Bass City Bistro and Three Blind Mice is approximately 2 blocks, and that they would not pay to take a pedicab to get from one place to the other. They also brought up the fact that if they wanted to walk to the rec bowl, which is across the street over here, it's still only a couple blocks, and they would not pay to take a pedicab, especially if there were no alcohol allowed, because part of the fun of the pedicab in college towns and tourist towns like, Ann Arbor, Grand Rapids, Traverse City, is the drinking and the pedaling. So unless we were to agree on changing the ordinance to include alcohol, I don't see a viable thing here.
Just to throw at it again, you guys are going to bring us a proposal, and it's your business, so I don't want to dictate to you how to run your business. If it works with or without the alcohol consumption situation, that's your decision for your business. So at this point in time, I just think that we need to wait and see what you bring up, and then you may want to change the the wording of the proposal at some point in time, if it's either working one way or working the other way. So we look forward to seeing whatever you have next.
I think what we'll have to do is, between now and the next reading, maybe we can get some research done in those communities that are allowing alcohol and see what their issues are, if any. And that'll give us some more information that we can absorb before the second reading. So, at this point, we, of course, encourage to have businesses come into town and entrepreneurs starting up. I think it's great. So it's something we're going to have to deal with here, but I think we need to do that with having the proper information and enough information that we can make a decision that's based on facts and before we.
Right, and just to add, I understand too the people that would already be downtown Mount Clemens in that, but what our goal is throughout Macomb County to bring people down here because there are some wonderful restaurants and bars, and it gives exposure to the city.
Of all different ages.
Right, of other, people that maybe don't want to go downtown Detroit and ride the bike, or, are not going to drive to Royal Oak or something. It brings, a viable business to this area. And we're both, we don't live in Mount Clemens, but we're very close.
And the risk is all on your end, not this end. We just need to provide you with the tools. So we'll talk about that and see what we can come up with.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Okay. Yeah, roll call. I'm sorry, roll call.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Kraft.
Yes.
Menzer.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes?
Campbell.
Yes.
Okay, 9B, introduction and first reading of the Public Parks and Park Property Ordinance. Need a motion?
I move to approve the introduction and first reading of a public parks and park property ordinance and set December 21st, 2015 as the date for the second reading and adoption.
Support.
Okay, all yours.
Administration and the Macomb County Sheriff's Office have received numerous complaints regarding improper and late-night activities in several city parks. The city attorney, in consultation with the Sheriff's Office, has drafted the attached comprehensive ordinance regulating the hours, activities, and conduct in city parks in order to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and persons using the parks, as well as protect the rights of those owning property adjacent to such parks.
Do you have anything you want to add? No? Okay. Questions, comments?
Well, I would just add one thing, and that is that similar to the last agenda item, this is a first reading. This is a draft, so if there are things you'd like to change, now's the time to do it.
I had a question on item E. No person shall start, fly, or use any fuel or battery-powered model aircraft vehicle or similar device within a park. I was just wondering where that stemmed from, and I'd much rather them do that in a park than next to my house and crash it into something. So I just wondered if it was, a problem that was coming up, or...
Some communities don't like it. Any of these items are up to this body to decide. If they don't think it should be in there, then it can be deleted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wondered what...
I have a question on that. Can we specify the certain parks that you could? Because we do have some open parks like Memorial Park and Shady Side Park that we could allow, I would think, flying model aircraft and things like that, because it's a wide open, where some of the smaller ones, like Sleepy Hollow, you wouldn't be able to do that with, and maybe even, trying to think just smaller parks, because this is for all of the parks. So if we could specify, maybe we could have certain sites that would allow that instead of totally eliminating it.
Sure.
Anyone else?
That's good.
Denise?
Well, wait, yeah.
Commissioner Menzer?
I am looking at something about enforcement. I've got nothing here that tells me who's going to enforce this. And in looking at the last thing, the last agenda item, there is a section on here for appearance tickets that can be issued by the sheriff department and/or its deputies, or other, such officials as designated by the city manager. I'm wondering why we didn't include something like that in here, and how do we intend to enforce this?
We're going to enforce it. It will be enforced by the sheriff's department, it is a misdemeanor. It's not a civil infraction. Therefore, you cannot authorize city employees to issue appearance tickets.
So,
The other that you're referring to would be a civil infraction and not a misdemeanor. That's the distinction.
well, thank you for that, but I'm still, I think that we need to have something here that says how we're going to enforce this.
Well, all ordinances are enforced by the sheriff's department. The police department has to issue or seek the complaints for misdemeanors. They're a criminal offense. That's, our ordinance, our drunk driving ordinance doesn't say the sheriff's department issues the tickets. It says it is a misdemeanor. And therefore, the sheriff department has to issue the tickets.
We can't include that language in this brand-new ordinance we're writing? I know that it's already in other ordinances, but as we're just, we're writing a brand-new thing that we're going to publish for the public. So I thought that it might be a good idea to tell them remind them or tell them how we're going to enforce it. And then my other question would be, there's a section here that talks about the use of loudspeakers, public address systems, and sound amplifying equipment. I would suggest that we include something about permits for that. There are political rallies where people give, speeches. There are high school reunions where people give speeches.
Section 2, park activities, indicates other uses and events as approved or specifically permitted by the city commission may be allowed within city parks and park property. So those other activities, political rallies, reunions, etc., they're allowable by the city.
But it says that the use of loudspeakers, public address systems, or sound amplifying equipment is prohibited within a park. I'm suggesting that maybe we allow that equipment.
Well, we can add except as permitted by the city.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I would
That's
not want
fine.
to just arbitrarily have it out there that anybody can go. I think if we have a permit, there's a form on the permit that's filled out and it tells you what you're going to be having. But if we just have it in there that anyone can, then we're going to have issues with teenagers with a party or something, and they're going to be booming the boxes, and we're going to be getting phone calls from the neighbors in the park, and we can't enforce it. So I think not generally putting it in there, but allowing it on the permit when people come in, because they have to have a permit if they're going to use the parks. And they can, at that time, specify what they're going to have.
Right. That's what I said. We would do that via permit.
Permit only, not generalized.
I was wondering if we could add something about the skate park at Shady Side Park. I don't see that mentioned in here, and I know that, we want to make sure that people are using the equipment properly and helmets. I think that needs to maybe be included somewhere.
Do we currently have anything on the signs on Shady
No.
side at the,
Because I took my 8-year-old and
that says you have to, nothing?
scared, standing
no
there
signs.
going, my God, he's gonna, break a limb. And there was no signs that said helmets required or anything, which surprised me.
Is that something,
What?
is that an issue, you think?
At Shady Side?
Mm-hmm.
We can add in, there's nothing in here that prohibits.
Or use at your own risk.
Well, I think everything is to some extent.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Lifeguard not on duty, I don't know.
It doesn't prohibit
Scary.
skateboards, and there is a skate park there, but if you wanted added, we can add it in.
Well, it's kind of specific to that, so if we could have a,
Yeah.
what does everybody think, if we could have a separate line item for the skate park? Just
Maybe-
identifying that.
Is Shady Side the only one that has
Is
why
it-
don't we just post signs there that say, use at your own risk, please wear a helmet or something to that effect?
Signs. No? Okay.
There could be a slight add-on to that, section 2, 3302, section 2, you could just add some language there that says unless, you know, specific to a park.
But I think it should be posted.
Yeah, there should be.
Yeah, there should be postings, I think. It's not going to do us good having it in the ordinance.
Yeah, 'cause they won't
Nobody's going to
read the
read it.
ordinance.
It's like it could be both.
Well, wait, what is the posting? That you
That
can state-
helmets.
Well, we can't require them to
You
wear
can't?
helmets.
Well, we
No.
can
No,
recommend
I
it.
mean, we can't require people to wear a helmet riding a bike.
Okay.
Well,
That's fine.
you could,
You
well,
know,
then
we don't
they
have the
should have something
authority.
that says use at your own risk.
Yeah.
Well, that's by definition. You know, it is. At your
Does that
own
open
risk.
us up for liability if we put anything up there, even hinting at the fact that they should? You know,
No,
because I
I
mean,
would-
it's similar, like, to me, it's similar to like the dog. It says, you know, somebody has beware of dog, that's kind of saying, you know your dog is vicious, instead of saying dog on premise, which is the best way to say it. Is this going to give us any liability if we put a sign up that says, skate at your own risk? I mean,
No, I wouldn't put up any sign.
Oh, that's what I'm asking.
I wouldn't put up any sign. Yeah. The one item I wanted to mention was the hours.
Oh.
Okay, because some of our signs have dusk, and we arbitrarily put in 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So that's something that I think we could use direction on. The reason for the hour, the main reason I put the hour in, is that you do get into disputes if somebody were cited. And one of the primary purposes of this ordinance is that there are a lot of people in our parks late at night that we don't necessarily need them in there, and they're drinking and they're doing other things. And if the sheriff's department issues them a ticket, in court, you can get into a debate over what is dusk. Where, you know, if you have an hour, then it's pretty clear cut we issued the ticket at 10:25, and you don't have to listen to an argument, well, it was still kind of light outside, and, you know, so that's the reason I put the hour in. But I do know some of our signs contain dusk. So that's a decision for you as well.
I kind of like the time. I'd like an ending time instead of leaving it up to.
From an enforcement
whoever.
standpoint, it's much easier to have an actual hour.
Commissioner Button?
I think that both of those should be in there, dusk in the wintertime and 10 o'clock, 10:30, whatever it is, in the summertime, because obviously the sun is up and longer in the summertime, and you have that opportunity to use the park a longer period of time, but there should be a cutoff time.
Well, what we have is the park shall open at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
and close at dusk, but no later than 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So I think it's
That's,
covered from that
yeah,
standpoint.
to me, that's covered.
If somebody's there after 10 o'clock, clearly
They're in violation.
they're in violation.
And the other thing, I think we should post signs at the parks regarding safety no matter what. I mean, whether it's in this ordinance or not. You know, we recommend wearing helmet and safety gear using this facility. Or using this facility is probably accurate enough. I think that whether it's in the ordinance or not, we should probably do that just for the safety's sake of the public. Does that bring us to any kind of liability?
Well, where do you stop? You know, do you post at Memorial Park, do you post signs that say we recommend that everybody playing softball wears a batting helmet? You know, I mean, you can go on and on and on. I don't know what good it does.
I think the
What
word
benefit?
recommend is probably what we could use, because the word recommend doesn't say that you have to. It just says that we think it's a good idea that you wear this, and if you don't, we at least recommend it that you do.
I think you create more problems than you solve. I really do, because what would then happen is I could see litigation where where the argument's going to be made, well, you knew that they should have been wearing helmets, so why didn't you demand that they, if you thought they should have been wearing it, why didn't you demand it?
Okay.
Can I do have a question. Jeff, may I know that we have ball games and sometimes tournaments. Do they go later than 10 o'clock?
They do, but the ordinance did say without written permission.
Okay, so that would be covered under the permit to go, okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure. Thanks. Anyone else?
Have we ever had any accidents with the skating at Shadyside?
Not that
It's
I'm
been
aware
there for
of.
quite a while.
Yeah, not that I'm aware
It
of.
really needs upgrading, though. It's so old.
Yeah, it is.
I'd like to see us work on that.
And by the way, we never had an ordinance on parks, which I was surprised by. This whole thing came about from Sergeant McFadden about some specific problems in a park. But we've never even had a park ordinance. So some of this is new material.
I have a question just about skating in general, because I see kids skating in different parts of town that I don't think are intended to be skating. I've seen them skating in the front of the high school. I've seen them skating there on what used to be the Dairy Mart. There's a ramp back there, and they skate on that, which doesn't seem very safe to me.
I would think the property owners would.
They skate on the county building. And,
Oh, yeah, they do.
but,
The fountain?
yeah, nobody's given them permission to, so they
That's
break their
true.
neck.
Well.
You know.
Okay.
Not much we can do.
No.
Okay, roll call, please.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunting.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes. 9C, approved contract with Macomb County Sheriff's Office for law enforcement services. I need a motion.
Move to approve the agreement for law enforcement services between Macomb County and the Macomb Sheriff Office and the City of Mount Clemens beginning January 1st, 2016 and running through December 31st, 2018 for annual amounts of $2,293,536.35 and $2,336,501 and $2,374,487.
Support.
Oh, yeah. I have a question. Is there a reason why these amounts appear to be lower than they have been in the past? By a little bit?
He needs, why don't you let him read that,
Oh, I'm
first,
sorry,
and-
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Okay, thanks.
So attached is a contract with the Macomb County Sheriff's Office for law enforcement services. The Sheriff's Office is requesting that the city approve a 3-year contract starting January 1st, 2016 and running through December 31st, 2018. Attachment A provides the breakdown of costs for 1 sergeant, 16 deputies, overhead and ancillary services and vehicles. Overhead and ancillary expenses include other supervisor costs, liability insurance, equipment purchases, and supplies. Vehicle expenses include the purchase of new vehicles, maintenance, and gas. For your information, here's a historical cost comparison, and the years are listed from 2012, 13, 14, and 15. The amounts are $2,294,899, $2,359,138, $2,410,399, and $2,434,833. That's in comparison to the average under the contract for 2016 through 2018, a 3-year period. The average cost is $2,334,841. City administration has reviewed this agreement, and we feel it addresses the city's needs. Additionally, the city attorney has reviewed this agreement and is satisfied with the final content.
Okay. Now
Now
your
back to the question.
Oh, okay.
I didn't ask.
Oh.
I
Too
mean,
much-
I'm not disputing it or anything.
Right.
but-
No, I think if I remember correctly, when that happened was, the contract always states 4% or whatever the union contract is. And I think at that time, there was not a large increase in the union contract. So that comes back to us then. They didn't increase it to the percentage. Am I right? That's what I heard.
Yeah, the original contracts provided for an increase, an annual increase not to exceed 4%, or whatever the collective bargaining agreement might generate. And one of the other reasons is I think their ancillary costs have gone down a little bit. Gasoline's cheaper, you know, some of perhaps equipment. The county charges us the same amount they charge Harrison, that they charge the townships up north. You know, it's all on a per man basis. So whatever we're paying is the same amount as the other communities that they contract with. And the amount, yeah,
surprised
right,
to see it was a little
right.
I remember when that came up, because we were surprised it went down, but I remember that was a year that the increase in the contract was not significant.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Okay, 9D, approve contract with the Macomb County Sheriff's Office for emergency dispatch services. Need a motion?
I move to approve the intergovernmental agreement for regional emergency dispatch services between Macomb County and the Macomb County Sheriff's Office and the City of Mount Clemens, beginning January 1st, 2016, and running through December 31st, 2018, for the annual amounts of $441,130, $449,517, and $457,044.
Support.
I almost did it again.
Kim?
Got it.
Okay, Mr.
Attached is the contract with the Macomb County Sheriff's Office for Emergency Dispatch Services. The Sheriff's Office is requesting the city approve a 3-year contract starting January 1st, 2016 and running through December 31st, 2018. Attachment A provides a breakdown of costs for 4.2 dispatchers and overhead and ancillary services. The overhead and ancillary services include supervisors, supplies, and liability insurance. For your information, here's a historical cost comparison again for those 4 years. $347,497. $381,424, $412,604, $421,056. That compares to the 3-year average of the contract of $449,230. And just to anticipate the question, that's likely related to increase in costs related to wages and benefits and things of that nature. Anytime you're running a business like that, you have to adjust those things. Perhaps they've had to raise pay, perhaps they've had contract demands that have been met that have resulted in a slightly higher cost on this particular service that haven't been realized on the law enforcement side.
Questions, comments?
I think
You
what
look like you have a question.
Well, I think what you have here is that you have much more capability and at much quicker with the change to the contact center and the changes that they've made in the fiber and the response time.
Okay, roll call, please.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
All right, 9E, Local Officers Compensation Commission recommendation. Need a motion?
Move to approve the local officers' compensation commission's recommendation of providing an increase of $500 per year for the position of mayor and an increase of $300 per year for the position of city commissioner.
Support.
Okay.
Pursuant to City Ordinance 12.600, the Local Officers Compensation Commission is to review the compensation of the mayor and city commission each odd-numbered year. Currently, the mayor's position receives $1,500 per year, and the city commissioner's positions receive $900 per year. The Local Officers Compensation Commission met on September 24th, 2015 to review the compensation, and after careful consideration, the commission is recommending an increase in compensation as follows: an increase of $500 per year for the position of mayor. This increase would bring the total amount of compensation for the mayor's position to $2,000 per year. an increase of $300 per year for the position of city commissioner. This increase would bring the total amount of compensation per commissioner to $1,200 per year. It was acknowledged and taken into consideration that the mayor and city commission have not received an increase in compensation since 2001. The recommendation of the local officers' compensation committee is attached.
And Mr. Murray would like to add something to that?
I would just add that the state statute and the city ordinance both contain identical language. The ordinance is based on the state statute, and that says that the compensation commission shall determine the salaries of the city elected officials, which determination shall be the salaries unless the legislative body, by resolution adopted by 2/3 of the members elected to and serving on the commission, rejects the determinations. The point of that being that there's a motion before you to approve the recommendation. If it is to be rejected, that motion would require 4 no votes. So a 3-3 vote means that the recommendation of the Compensation Commission automatically goes into effect.
Everybody understand that? Okay. Are there any comments, questions? I guess seeing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Button.
I'm just going to say this, but
Do you want me to stop you, or?
it's kind of bad timing to have our raise come, and we still haven't replaced our personnel, and you know, we haven't even settled on the 16 budget yet. But I guess if the commission has already recommended this, and I guess we should probably, I'm going to go ahead and vote yes, but I just think it's bad timing.
Anyone else? Commissioner Menser.
None of us are getting rich on this salary. Most of the money that I get for this commission is spent in gas, in meetings repeatedly, especially in April, every single week for the budget. To come here to pick up my commission package, to drive over here for these meetings, to make copies at home, to use my ink at home. This is not, you know, that I'm going to take this money and run off to Aruba. This barely pays the expenses that we have. There has been a lot of misinformation about what we get here as perks or benefits. This is it. Just this check, just this pay, paid twice a year. So if we want quality candidates, although I'm very pleased that we have 5 people today, if we want to continue to attract quality candidates for commission and for the mayor's position, we need to take into consideration what are we expending in terms of our own money, and will this break us even? So I'm going to vote yes on this.
Anyone else?
I'm the new person, obviously, and I didn't get to vote in the June budget. But in that budget, we didn't get to give any of our administrative staff that we ask a lot of, who do dual roles. We didn't increase their pay, and my husband and I own a business, and we saw many, many dark times where we had to, really rally and really be loyal to our employees, and I think that goes really far. And so I just always try to live by the notion that I would never ask of anyone anything that I'm not willing to do myself. And so I'm not going to be able to sleep, even though it's $300. So if it passes, which it looks like it will, then I'll donate it. It's fine.
Okay, roll call.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
No.
Menser.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. 9F, approve purchase and payment of invoices. Need a motion.
Move to approve purchases and payment of invoices as presented.
Support.
Are there any questions? Commissioner Menser.
I just wondered, on the low bid for zones for the tablets, are these new or are they remanufactured? Because that's a very low price.
They're new.
They're brand new? And they're loaded with software?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunting.
Yes.
Consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Bunting.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
City managers report.
So I had several things for the report this evening. BS&A software. The mayor and commission during the fiscal year 2016 budget process approved an investment in the city's ability to more efficiently and effectively provide various services to our residents and customers by authorizing an upgrade to the .NET version of BS&A software and associated training to go along with it. The software upgrade was rolled out and training has been ongoing for the past week. Our tax assessing and community development functions have been very engaged in this process. All users were trained on the new features and reporting options available with the new programs. Staff is looking forward to utilizing this new and improved tool for providing important services more effectively. As an additional FYI, the December 7th meeting agenda also includes an associated purchase of service tablets to improve our staff's ability to take advantage of the capabilities of the new software. So we just discussed the bid price on those service tablets. The purpose of those tablets is to allow our field staff to have those tools out with them as they're doing the work in the field and allow them to stay in touch with the systems here at the city through the BS&A software. The second point that I had, Local Treasure Award nominations. Our Local Treasure Award provides recognition to individuals that make our city a better place to live through their contributions to life in Mount Clemens. Awards are presented annually at a February commission meeting. Nominations are being accepted through December 15th. Nominees must be either a Mount Clemens resident or business owner. Any Mount Clemens resident can submit a nominee or nominees. All nominations must be made in writing using the nomination form, and residents interested in making a nomination can contact the city manager's office at 586-469-6818, extension 7. More information, including the nomination form, is available on the city website, which is located, of course, at www.cityofmountclemens.com. This information is located in the announcements box located on the home page of the website. We encourage residents to make nominations for this important recognition/award. Again, the Local Treasure Award nominations are open for people to participate in through December 15th. The third item was related to our website. As you know, the city recently rolled out a website upgrade. We continue to improve this informational resource for people interested in Mount Clemens. One of our new capabilities on the website is a banner that appears on every page of the website. That we can use to highlight very important and timely information. We use this banner to make announcement about things such as road closures, deadlines, and other important matters. And again, I've said this several times in the past, we want to hear from residents about their experience with the website so we can continue to make it better and more helpful. Please visit the website often for the latest news and information about our city, and let us know what you think. You can provide feedback again to the city manager's office at the number that I just read, or email me directly at sbrown@cityofmountclemens.com. Then I had an add-on after the fact that I wanted to add to the manager's report here. We do have another road closure coming up that's actually going to be covered on that banner that I mentioned the week before it happens. But there is going to be a road closure of North Main Street between Macomb Place and Cass on Saturday and Sunday, December 19th and 20th, on an intermittent basis on those days, beginning at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday and scheduled to end by 2 p.m. on Sunday. So again, North Main Street between Macomb Place and Cass will be closed at various times during the day on Saturday and Sunday, December 19th and 20th, beginning at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday and ending at 2 p.m. on Sunday. And that's all I had.
Any questions or comments? Commissioner Menser.
Commissioner Bunting already alluded to it. I'd like some response on personnel issues. I'd like to know what happened to the economic developer. I understand that we have hired a planner. I would like to know what we're going to do with the water utilities director position that we talked about that no one applied for, and the HR position. I'd also like to hear something about the information technology and the fact that coupling that with the finance director for the last 3 years has been written up as frowned upon in the Platt and Moran reports.
Can I have your report next time?
Okay.
Anyone else?
I just had a quick question. If you were looking for information on people's experience with the website, SurveyMonkey.com has really easy, you can link it right to it, maybe develop 5 questions, and then
Right.
people could give instant feedback.
Yeah, we're in a project right now where we're utilizing that SurveyMonkey tool, and that is something that I'm looking to get included in the website for us to gather that kind of information on a variety of issues, and that will be one of the first ones. Excellent point.
Anyone else? Thank you. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to thank the 5 residents who applied for the position here tonight. I look forward to meeting with everybody next Monday. I would also like to thank the residents of the Compensation Commission for their work too. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill.
I would like to congratulate everyone who participated in the Santa Parade. It was a great event, and the first snow of the season made it seem very much like Christmas. If you happen to miss it, it was recorded and is being shown on the cable channel, so you can see the parade if you weren't able to be there. Thank you to Mayor Dempsey, who chairs the parade committee and has kept the parade going for the past 10 years. It's a big job. There's another wonderful event that's coming up this week, the annual Christmas Walk, sponsored by the Bass City Association. It is Thursday, December 10th. This is an opportunity to be invited inside 6 beautifully decorated homes. Buses will transport participants from the First Presbyterian Family Life Center to the street where the walk is being held. A guide will walk with each group to the houses, and the owners will talk about their decorations and holiday traditions. At the end of the walk, buses will transport people back to the Family Life Center. Complimentary hot coffee, tea, and cocoa and cookies will be available. And this lovely Mount Clemens calendar, produced by the Bass City Association, will also be for sale for $10. It's got pictures of many beautiful Mount Clemens homes in here. So you'll want to check that out and see who you know got their home in the calendar. The tickets are being sold at the Mount Clemens Public Library for $18. On December 14th, Christmas Eve, John's Family Restaurant on 304 Cass Avenue is hosting a brunch from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and there is no charge for this brunch. However, people are encouraged to give a donation. So if you choose to participate, you can donate any amount you want to. And 100% of that money that is donated will be given to local churches to support their programs for the homeless. This is a great way to have a good meal on a busy day and also help people who are less fortunate. Enjoy the holiday season with all the decorations and events, but be careful. We want everybody to be safe and sound and ready for 2016. Have a good evening.
Commissioner Krapp.
Thank you. Thank you to all of the 5 candidates who extended a letter of interest for the vacant commission seat. I appreciate your willingness to put in a letter of intention and look forward to the interview and getting to know you and the selection process. It looks like it's going to be tough. You may remember that I spoke in my last commissioner comments about a listening tour. As commissioners, we have to attend a lot of meetings and things, and I promise not to every week or every meeting tell you about those, but I just wanted to let you know what my first things have been as commissioner. In the last few weeks, I've spent many hours with many key people of our city. 2 weeks ago, I met with our new finance director, Linda Kunith. City Manager Steve Brown, and former Finance Director Marilyn DeLugie. We spent 2 hours reviewing the current city budget as well as historical budget milestones of the city. They willingly answered my questions and were very helpful when it came to areas of finance that I didn't have any background knowledge. I appreciate their time and cooperation as I learned the ins and outs of municipalities. The following day, I was given a tour by Mr. Jeff Wood, Director of the Department of Public Works. We spent approximately 3 hours driving around the city to different city-owned facilities. I met many of the city employees who keep the daily and critical operations of the city moving forward. Jeff was very kind to answer my endless barrage of questions regarding our infrastructure and aging facilities. While I'm not naive enough to believe that I have a complete handle on what our finances and facilities are and what we can do to improve our city, I do believe not one of us should be making decisions for the city without as much information as possible. So thank you again to Linda, Steve, and Jeff for making the process very informative and pleasant. I appreciate your time and effort. Tomorrow morning I'm planning to meet with Brian Tingley in the planning department to learn about their efforts in our city's planning and economic development. Last Wednesday, I had the pleasure of attending the DDA meeting to hear their efforts in the downtown area. I hope to continue listening to the needs of business owners and address these needs with the DDA and to assist to bring businesses to our empty storefronts. Last Thursday, I was invited to attend a meeting with the superintendent, school board members, and other community leaders at the Administrative Center in Mount Clemens High School. We listened to a presentation given by Dr. Pearson, who informed us of the state of the budget in our community schools. Many of the attendees, several who are here at the table, gave input and extended our offers to help with the district in any way we could. As I spend time learning the functions of the city departments, I also realize how important it is to stay connected with residents. During the months before the election, many of the complaints I heard was the perception of residents that city officials were inaccessible. In order to work on that issue, I have decided to start a monthly coffee talk session at local diners. This month, I'll be at John's Family Grill, located at 304 Cass Avenue, Tuesday, December 15th at 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. My intention is to rotate locations and times to make it accessible to different schedules that residents may have. I look forward to meeting with residents and chatting about the city. Please feel free to join me for a cup of coffee and good conversation. Before I close, I wanted to mention a fundraiser that Commissioner Hill actually already mentioned, so I won't bore you again with that, but John's Family Grill, also Mark from John's Family Grill does donate all of the food, and so none of the donations go towards the cost of the food, so I think that's a really, a man who's dedicated to our city, and so he should be commended for that. They'll be accepting donations, and it'll go to 2 local churches. Thank you to everyone for the warm welcome to the City Commission, and don't forget to visit our downtown businesses and your holiday shopping. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer.
I came down here for Small Business Saturday. I was very happy to see quite a few people walking around. I went to Artist Music and I bought 2 slide whistles, guaranteed to drive my brother insane and to make my niece and nephew very happy. I went to Paperback Writers and I bought a couple of books. And where else did I go? Where I always complain about. Champagne chocolates, curse you and your chocolatey, wonderful, good stuff. I spent way too much money in there. But over the last couple of months, I have been all over downtown. I've been to Bass City Bistro several times. I've been to Your Mother's. I've been to Three Blind Mice. I donated some food at the Magic Shop for their fundraiser. I went to Phil's Pharmacy, where actually Cetaphil moisture lotion is cheaper than Myers and Walgreens. I stopped into Studio 58 and I talked to the ladies there, and I went to darkroom photography, and if you're taking pictures of your children with Santa Claus, darkroom photography has a beautiful setup, and it really is nice. And I also went to Little Lorraine's today to arrange a Christmas party for some of the kids from work. I want to say welcome home to the airmen of the 127th Wing of the Michigan National Guard stationed at Selfridge Air Force Base. 450 soldiers went out, 450 came back, no casualties. They were deployed for 6 months in the Middle East. So this was the longest and largest mass deployment from Selfridge since the Korean War. So welcome home, soldiers, thank you. In addition, on this day in 1941, 2,403 American soldiers lost their lives at Pearl Harbor. Over 1,000 were injured. The USS Arizona and the USS Oklahoma were completely destroyed. 6 other battleships were destroyed, and the United States entered World War II. So, this is a weekend, this is a week that you should thank a veteran for their service. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Button.
Okay. Need health insurance? Open enrollment is here. Sign up with the Health Insurance Marketplace or the Healthy Michigan Plan. Monday, December 14th, 5:30 through to 8:30 p.m. at Mount Clemens High School Media Center. And that's at 55 Cass Avenue, Mount Clemens. There is no charge for enrollment services. The things that you would need to have when you come there, you need your Social Security number, employer or income information for every member of the household who needs coverage. For example, a pay stub or W-2 form, wage and tax statements, and you also would need policy number of any current health insurance plans covering members of your household. So this is, again, at Mount Clemens High School, 5:30 through 8:30, Monday, December 14th. Please take advantage of this opportunity. And might I also add that Mount Clemens High School is serving the community quite well since they host a number of these kind of things. So kudos to Mount Clemens High School. November was a month that men were to be reminded of the fact that they are to take good care of their health. At Ruthie Stevens' request, I grew this fuzz that's under my chin. It's going to be gone tomorrow. It's a sad statement, though, that men must be reminded to take good care of their health so that they can continue to be there for their family and friends. I encourage men to pay attention to their health 12 months out of the year. Not quite forgotten because Commissioner Menser also mentioned this, but almost forgotten is the fact that this day, December 7th, is the day that the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor and drew us into World War II. Many American servicemen and women died on that day and will live in infamy. Let us remember the gallant men and women that died in World War II, and that freed us from the grips of imperialism and Nazism. Anyway, I truly thank the citizens that showed an interest in the vacant commission seat. I wish that you all have great luck in your quest for that seat. If you are not successful in this effort, I encourage you to run in the next election. In fact, I encourage this kind of participation in every future election. I would like to thank the 5 candidates that have expressed interest in the vacant seat on the commission, but I'd also like to ask you, where were you during the last election? Due to a lack of candidates running, there was no real choice for the 3 seats. Also would like to wish Happy Hanukkah. This is the first day at sunset for Hanukkah, and we'd like to wish all of those who work that or are part of that belief that you have a very happy Hanukkah. And I guess with that, we'll move into Commissioner Wisdom. Actually, I'm kind of rolled 2 together, and these are anonymous. So, war does not determine who is right. War determines who is left. Also, war does not determine who is right. War determines who is strongest. And with that, we'll say good night.
Thank you. Well, it seems like everybody has picked on something tonight, so let me see if I can find something. No, just kidding. Mr. Emerson, who's in the back row, he's going to have a new presentation February 9th at the library, and it's going to be in the evening at 7 p.m., and he's going to be talking about Afro-Americans' deaths and the burials in Macomb County, Michigan, or what we could find since 1880 and the cemeteries that would take us for burial. As he mentioned to me that, I think he might be gone, I'm not sure, is he still? He left, he just left, but he does a great presentation on Afro-Americans and what they've had to endure in Macomb County. And as he told me, he said, you know, that back in that time, they were not allowed to be buried in the cemeteries along with the whites because it would contaminate the ground. That was the belief at the time. So he does a great presentation. I think it's well worth everybody going and getting educated on Macomb County. And it's February 9th at 7 p.m. at the library. Secondly, I too want to thank the parade sponsors. Can't do it without you. We had great sponsorship. We had the most volunteers we've ever had participate this year. Participants were up, and so was all of the people who came to watch the parade, who got totally soaking wet with the snow. And so I just want to thank everybody. Everybody did a great job, and it went off really well, and we've gotten really good feedback from people from all over Macomb County. So thank you so much. Secondly, openings for boards and commissions. We have 5 candidates tonight for 1 position on this board, but we have lots of openings on a number of our commissions and boards. They're on the website. You can contact the city. You can contact Lisa at the city clerk's office. She will tell you what we have open, submit, get involved. Like I said, we have numerous boards that we could use your talents. I want to thank the Compensation Commission for what they've done. They meet yearly, and every year they come out and say, no, sorry, this is it. No, sorry, we can't do it for you. Sorry, sorry. But so we want to thank you again for your time and effort that you put together to do this for us, and all of the commissions that give of themselves without any pay and sometimes very little gratitude at times. So thank you so much. And with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Oh, no, I can't. It's Christmas time, selling time. No, I have to do this. Christmas presents. What greater Christmas presents can you get than we have? Can you get this on camera? We have sweatshirts, city sweatshirts. We have hoodies to buy for your family. Very reasonable costs. We have hats, $8. T-shirts for less than $10, sweatshirts for $10. So come on by, see us, get some Christmas gifts for your family. Thank you. Now I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Hill.
Yes.
Crowd.
Yes.
Menzer.
Yes.
Bunting.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.